Greetings and salutations, Dota fans. Back on the mic with you here from our downtown studio in San Francisco. So happy to it's a little bittersweet, of course. Loved my time spent with the BTS guys and everyone at the NA Hub, but really kind of happy to be back home for a while. 18 days we were gone. And, there's something about sleeping in your own bed and casting from your own desk in your own studio that is more than a little comforting, I need. See, and we're down to our very last match in D2L Western Challenge regular season play, but just because it's the last match doesn't mean there isn't a whole lot to be determined by it. In fact, our playoff picture going to be impacted by this. Basically, win and you're in. RoX and Team Liquid both underperforming throughout regular season play, only notching one win apiece. This is their last match each. So, winner goes into the field of 6 in our postseason playoff picture. The loser, well, they're out, along with Alliance, who honestly look terrible for the majority of D2L Western Challenge. But as you can see, the draft is already underway, and to help break it down and give insight and analysis, welcome in once again, Trouf, my friend, and you're very loud. You need to come down.
Oh, okay. One sec.
Oh, God. Save my ears. You're good now. You're good. You're solid.
I'm good?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. Yep, sorry about that. But yeah, it's actually really funny that you just mentioned at the end there, as I was thinking, it's Alliance that are out, right? And I'm like, wow, it's TI3 champs are already out of D2L. Kind of crazy.
Yep.
But yeah, it's good to be back in this last game. It's kind of fun when there's a lot of times in tournaments like this where the last game doesn't really matter and people just kind of play it out. But it's actually kind of cool that this game actually really does matter for both teams. So it could be a fun one.
Oh, exactly. And especially both of these teams. I mean, Liquid in the qualifiers, they finished all right. They didn't finish as well as they would have liked, but they will be going to Seattle for a chance to fight their way in to the big bracket for TI. RoX, though, well, we saw what happened to them in the EU qualies. They took a tumble, and I'm sure they're a little upset about that. So TI not going to be an option for them. Now it's just a matter of continuing to grind and already beginning to look ahead to next year as they continue to develop this team and hopefully improve in the future, but still very much alive here in the Western Challenge if they can get a win over TL. They open up with the tree, which is the most completely unsurprising pick in history. They do love their tree, and GoldBlack has run it 70 times in competitive play. That's something like 2.5 times as much as any other player. That's something like 5 times as much as PPD, for example. Liquid, though, they go with the Darkseer and the Ancient Apparition.
Yeah, he was really kind of the first player that comes to mind that really kind of started picking tree way back before he got nerfed, actually, when Living Armor was just, I gotta say, it was OP. Like, it was, I was watching a cast, I believe it was one of the WPC games last night, excuse me, where they were using Treant armor in mid lane. They were like, oh, they lost even with the Treant armor being applied, but it's not the same like it once was, where you could just constantly spam at early levels, because I believe it had a lower cooldown. There was a couple other things I don't 100% remember, but I just know that it was used a lot more specifically for, like, we're going to win our mid lane. Like, our mid lane's going to crush. You can't really do that anymore, but now he's utilized as more of an early lane presence with his, like, most of the times people will level up their leap seed first, and they'll just go for kills. And GoldBlack was really one of the first to start utilizing tree, even way back when. So.
Oh no, he was. To this day, it's one of the most enjoyable, just little one-off experiences I've had revolving around Dota. He and I were both at DreamHack Summer. I'm pretty sure it was DreamHack Summer of last year, and we both ended up being on the same plane as we left Sweden. And we were waiting at the terminal. We were both there early. They had like an hour to kill, and we just ended up sitting and just talking shop and just chopping it up with that dude and listening to his insight, the way he felt about. Obviously things change. It's been so long that the meta and the opinions he gave then have shifted quite a bit. But we did talk a lot about Tree then. And yeah, like you said, he's always been a big proponent and showed very early just how successful it could be. And like you said, it is very much a win your lane kind of hero. Get up a set of tier 1 boots, just go brown boots right off the bat. Maybe if you're lucky, you find a rune. And a tree with a double damage rune and brown boots at level 1 is goddamn terrifying. Like, there is nothing you can do but just run away. But Liquid's not coming out of their comfort zone either. Playing the Ancient Apparition, the Darkseer heroes that they've been using and showing a lot of proficiency with. They even go ahead and grab up the Wraith King, so going big on the AoE team fight.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've really seen Liquid other than the NA qualifiers, which they did take the wild card spot. Unfortunate for them, they weren't able to secure the main invite. Well, I guess whatever you want to see it, but So it's actually Bulba drafting right now. I don't know if they're trying to, experiment with things and change things up. But one thing against Tree and Protector is, I don't know, maybe you have the stats better on this, but I remember them talking about for the NA Hub that at least in North America, Tree and Protector was picked all the time, but had a terrible win rate.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was mostly just due to. I mean, call it what it is. It was a whole lot of EG pretenders who drafted just the most quintessential EG lineups, and honestly lacked both skill and experience. Because the thing about Tree and Protector, and we talked about this through every qualifier because he was picked so often. Tree is a hero that gives you a lot or he gives you nothing. He is not a hero that's just going to kind of give you something and kind of do okay in the mid game. Like he doesn't function that way. Either your towers are still standing at like 25 minutes, you've won your lane, and he's begun to rotate and apply pressure maybe to another lane and collapsed and so on. That's what he does. So you can't just pick him and be like, oh, okay, he's OP. He's really popular, so I'm just going to walk down lane and go win now. You have to run him effectively, and you have to get a lot out of him early. Otherwise, he ends up feeling kind of like a dead pick who has a kind of underwhelming disable as his ultimate, and that's really all you can rely on once you lose your towers and once living armor naturally begins to fall off a little bit. But yeah, Liquid, it's kind of weird, man. Like, we were gone so long doing the hub coverage that, it's like it really feels like ages ago that I saw Liquid and was casting them in the America's qualifier, but this is just what they do. A lot of team fight. The Wraith King, a pick that has become very popular with many teams, Liquid foremost among them, and Shadow Fiend, of course. I honestly, if every pro I talked to while I was there, I think everyone agreed the two heroes that are the strongest right now were Tree and Shadow Fiend.
Oh, really? Just in general, the two strongest heroes?
Well, just in general, what you can do with them, especially on Radiant's side. Like Liquid being on Radiant's side and getting the Shadow Fiend, it is ridiculous how quickly he farms once he gets level 5.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of different tournaments, both East and West, and we've had some downtime with D2L, so I've been able to watch that. And right. I actually don't know why Shadow Fiend's not picked up more. I really don't. I feel like he's so good. You shut him down, he goes to the jungle. You don't shut him down, he just snowballs. And the best thing about Shadow Fiend is his sense is when you talk about like say a DK mid, where if you leave that lane to go gank, like say it's Shadow Fiend versus Quap, you're like, oh, I'm Quap, haha, I'm gonna go own the Shadow Fiend now because I'm supposed to own him or whatever.
Right.
But you leave, like you get a rune, you leave to go gank. Okay, maybe you get a kill, maybe you don't. But if you do, or if you don't, even if you do, Shadow Fiend's just gonna push your tower. Like he's one of the best at pushing out waves because he double raises it, kills it instantly. And he does a lot of the auto attack damage early on. So if you leave that mid lane, that tower's going down. And if you don't, he's just going to spam it, one wave, and then he's going to go to the jungle. He's going to take those creeps. He just farms doubly whatever other mid hero is there. I just don't know why he's not picked up more. I think he's a premier top-tier pick.
No, I completely agree.
As far as Tree and Protector goes, I have to agree. But I think that the reason why teams didn't play him well, at least in the NA qualifiers, is, like you mentioned, they don't have enough experience. Like, I think you have to be very active with Treant. I think he's very, very good early on. And if you just kind of run around and, living armor here, living armor there, I think you're not utilizing the hero to his full potential. He's got a lot of attack damage. I think it's actually higher than Tiny's. I'm not 100% sure. It's right there with Tiny. And he has one of the best early game spells as far as dealing damage and healing yourself. So, I think if you have... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. And honestly, everything you've just said is things that while we were at the hub, we talked about both on camera and off camera. Basically, exactly what you said. Shadow Fiend is, well, the thing about Shadow Fiend is he kind of has the DK factor going with him, like you talked about. Like, if he gets level 6, suddenly he's just going to push your tower down if it's an absent lane. But he flash farms better. He's ranged. He gets worse and worse as he gets more stacks on his souls. Even if you kill him, he can get a little bit of help from his supports that come stacked to the jungle. Then he just raises them down. It's easy stuff. It's actually going to be Demon playing on the Shadow Fiend, so that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's going to be TC playing the Ancient Apparition, actually. So they've been changing things around a lot, and they need to find something to get in gear before the wildcard matches because that's going to be very important for them. We haven't talked too much about RoX.KIS's lineup. We mentioned the tree, but they have the Doom now, the Puck, the Bane, and the Razor. Doom is just a hero that's been exploding on the Eastern scene. They pick it all the time, and I gotta hand it to them. It's warranted. Like, this hero is so good. I think that hands down, like, it's kind of a bold statement. I think he has the best ultimate in the game. Like, just the best.
Yeah.
You ult someone, they're out of the fight. Like, nothing they can do. Whether they pop BKB or not, whether they are a hard carry or not, they're just pretty much out of the fight, more or less. I think the hero is just obscenely strong. And then Razor is the last pick. I got to go out on a limb, and I actually say I'm one of the biggest Razor fans.
Really?
Yeah, I really like Razor. I'm a big Razor fan, but that's just me personally.
Well, the one thing that we could see right off the bat is, of course, that RoX has a ton of weapons to deal with that Shadow Fiend. You've got Doom. If you just Doom him very early on, he's not nearly as effective, especially in the through the early and the mid game phases. So once Doom's level 6, that's huge. They're going to have Fiend's Grip. They're going to be able to suck his damage with the Razor. So yeah, like that's kind of the weakness I think that I'm seeing in Liquid's lineup is you've got a Wraith King who's going to be played as a support, and that's perfectly fine. In fact, we saw, check that. He's moving out. He's got a Stout Shield. So Koikva going to be moving and probably playing. Yeah, he's going to be farming as a core as they go aggressive. And that's fine. I actually don't mind that at all. If you're going to farm, in a situation like this, I don't like a dedicated defensive tri-lane to a Wraith King. I watched that suck across multiple qualifiers a few times that I saw it. It's just awful. But, doing this, accomplishes a couple of things. You put pressure on this lane against RoX.KIS, but more importantly, you make it very difficult for them to peel off any kind of pressure with their supports and to roam and to actually apply any kind of pressure to the Shadow Fiend.
Yeah, actually, I remember one of the first times I saw Wraith King as a 1. I think it was actually we were casting in D2L. And I was talking about how I thought Wraith King as a 1 was just a waste. Like there's just better carry heroes. But actually, that one game the first game I saw, it was Eternal Envy playing it for Cloud9, and it worked. And I feel like one of the only reasons it was because they had a Wisp. And I think Wisp just completely changes the dynamic of whatever one hero you want. So, but in this instance, yeah, it is good that they're going aggressive. And if Doom, if he's not careful, he could get dove very, very easily, especially before he gets Scorched Earth. So he's got to be very careful. I think he suspects something because he's playing kind of passive, and he gets the speed aura creep. So he's actually got some good movement speed now.
Yeah. And Bulba's going to be just fine down here. We can see that currently no switches. Do you think they end up swapping these lanes? Do you think one of these teams is more apt to dodge, or do you think that for Liquid that they actually would like to run into this as aggressive pressure?
Well, I think Liquid's going to stay here. I don't think that they're going to go and help out the Darkseer. I think Darkseer is just going to be fine. Could see some roaming here in mid. That's an early bottle from Shadow Fiend, and they're pinging it out possibly. So I think Liquid will stay here. They have the potential to push this tower easily once Venge gets levels. And then I go action mid, perhaps.
Gold throws out the Nightmare. Quite far back is the puck. He's going to be able to come in. Leech Seed is there. Goldblack's eating a lot of tower damage, but Demon is going to end up taking a spill, and there's that big power punching tree we were talking about. Move early and just apply pressure. And yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about as well. RoX, if they were up against this pressure directly from Liquid, would not have been able to roam like that. Instead, they get a first blood and a damn valuable one at that.
Yeah, and it looks like they are going to rotate, possibly go top. This could be okay. Doom needs his levels, though. He's pretty useless with a level 1 Devour. Like, he really needs Scorched Earth. So they're going to have to play this kind of carefully, because this is a very potent tri-lane. Way 2 is taking actually a lot of damage, but it is a potent tri-lane. And then bottom lane, Razor versus DS, that's fine, I think, for both heroes.
Yep.
DS can always just run away as soon as he's taking some aggression, like right now. He doesn't even need to. So it's just going to be like both heroes farming down here.
Yep, and we are going to see the direct head-on now with the O-Tri. How do you like this matchup? Which do you think is stronger in this situation?
Once Doom gets levels, actually, I feel like this tri-lane could be good. But Bane, hold that thought, is actually mid. He wants to get the kill again. I don't know if they see him. That could be a cue for Liquid to maybe do something. Like, they should be fighting him right now. They don't have Bane. Nope. Finally, Bane comes back up. And actually, TC's TPing out. He got caught in a bad spot, so that was a smart TP by him, but he was kind of off in no man's land.
Yep, teleporting right back to his own tier 2. And we can see the other lanes relatively quiet for the moment. The Wraith King is farming very well, so Koikva at 15 CS leads the board. Only 7 CS in mid for that Shadow Fiend as he's being bullied around by Sadoy after giving up that early first blood. But Demon should have no problem closing that gap once he gets his soul count up. Right now, he's just a little slow in that. And something that I expect to see very soon is maybe one of these supports from Liquid beginning to peel off. Yeah, here he comes. And way too likely to go into the jungle and start stacking these camps up for him.
The only bad thing about that is trying to help your mid is like it defeats the whole purpose of you trying to go aggro tri-lane.
Exactly.
And it's like why not just go safe lane and just farm up?
Mm-hmm.
And then if you're thinking, well, if we could just go safe lane, why pick a Wraith King as a 1? So there's all these it's kind of snowballs into question after question. So I think if you're gonna go aggressive, you need to push it to it, and you need to actually put a ward behind there. They did actually, but they just didn't find him fast enough. And actually, that Speedor kind of came into play because they tried to go on him, but he was like really freaking fast at level 1, and they couldn't get the bench down.
Well, what I think the plan was, and Yoel's zoning out Quakeva a bit there, not able to catch him with the Nightmare, though. But I think the plan was to go aggro to get in their face, and then Demon just wouldn't be in a position where he needed help, you know. But they went up there, they ran into a solo safe laner, and ended up not coming to help him whenever the pressure came out of RoX.KIS. So everything going quite in RoX.KIS's favor right now. The Razor's doing extremely well. DS has actually been kind of run out of lane. He was in the jungle, and no reason not to take free jungle creeps, but that's where Way2 is now as well. So TC coming out along with Way2, and they're going to look to maybe make something happen on this Razor if they can lock him down, but he is almost level 6 now.
Well, and they have a ward spotting out TC, and like, what is an AA going to do to a Razor? Like, absolutely nothing. In fact, what is a VS going to do to a Razor?
Exactly.
Depending on what Razor's build. Actually, Razor's not going for the unstable current. I actually think unstable current would be not too bad here because they have a couple targetable spells, and it did get buffed in the last patch. I think it's actually really good now. But he's not going for that. He's going for the safer spam route, and it's going to kind of harass Bulb out of lane just a little bit. Yeah, he's down to only 11 CS, so I think that RoX.KIS is really benefiting from this, like this early stage. Yeah, they're all getting good farm, and Doom is getting now pretty much a free farm lane. He's got a very, very good creep now too, the extra regen one.
No, I completely agree with you. I think RoX has done fine, and they're now rotating a couple down, Yoel and Golblack, not showing their face in lane quite yet, but. Yeah, I mean, the thing about the farming Wraith King is he just takes so long to come online in any meaningful way. I mean, you could do stuff like rush a Blink Dagger and it still make him just more utility focused, but in that case, you're just missing out and your lineup's very one-dimensional and completely all in for damage on hitting your AA and your Darkseer combination, which is great, don't get me wrong, but you want more sustainable damage, and you're only going to have one source of that. Here we go, Quakeva engaged. BZZ has the static link on him. Tree trying to catch him, will not be able to get the leech sheet off. He's got help back behind the tower, and Golblack actually didn't spot that, so for all they know, there was no one there. But, yeah, Liquid able to keep everyone up and alive, at least for now. Solo up the top, in the meantime, is getting a lot of free farm.
This is really good movement from the RoX.KIS supports, like really good movement. They're just constantly going where the other supports are, and they're freeing up both of their lanes. Like, Paka's doing really, really well in mid, 36 and 9. And now Doom is free farming. Like, this is a safe lane Doom that was supposed to go against a tri-lane, and now he's free farming.
Nightmare on to Way2. Sadoy's there to follow. He is level 7, has a coil if he needs it. Hits the waning rift. Will spin the coil to secure the kill. That's going to make it 2-0. Stun King. Just flat out moving better. There's no other way to say it. They're dominating everywhere. Up at top, Bulba doomed and chased back as Solo using Scorched Earth, doing the damage. Bulba, he may survive here. There's a little, he's actually going to survive just barely as TC gets there in time to scare off the Doom. So attempt up there. In the meantime, at bottom, Quakeva going to be Nightmare. They want to continue.
One creep from 6. He's one creep from 6.
Oh, he's so close. There's going to be the leech sheet. Yep, he got it. He's going to have the mana for it as well. And not sure they're going to realize that. Yep, there's the slow, but there's no one to come help. They already TP'd up to top, so they can't really bring any more dedicated support down. And so it looks like we may just end it. Wow, actually, he's just going to toss out the Hellfire Blast on the BZZ. There's going to be the Plasma Field, and yeah, you can't get too close. He sucked a lot of damage. He's hitting for like 180 right now.
Yeah, I actually was wondering maybe they could have re-engaged. I didn't see the cooldowns on Golblack, and he was pretty low, so I think that was smart. They forced out the ult from Wraith King. It's a really, really long cooldown at level 1, too. So, and then it's just kind of funny because they really, after about 7 minutes of kind of going back and forth, they rotated the lanes to where it ended up being like Darkseer off lane, tri-lane, short lane. Like, why didn't they just start with that? It was just kind of, if you're going to go tri-lane, and it was a good tri-lane, like, that's a pretty potent tri-lane. The second you see someone, they're pretty much dead, but Solo did a really good job about evading the early ganks, and TC might be in trouble if he gets caught by a Nightmare here.
Yep, let's see if they can get in range. Here we go, Quakeva's going to be there. Hellfire Blast catches Solo over near the side. Sharp, they're going to engage. Cold Feet is there as his Chilling Touch. Cold Feed will not oh no, it got him right at the edge of it. Yoel's there to help if he needs to. We'll go ahead and use the Nightmare. The blast goes off. He's very low, about 100 HP. Does manage to slide out safely, so Yoel biding his time. Now here comes more support. Sadoy's making his way up. There's going to be a TPN as well. Quakeva's low. Now he is going to be caught by the coil. Doesn't have his ultimate available. Waiting Rift is actually off the mark. Phase shifts, though, away from the stun. Cold Feet is there to follow. He's going to actually die, but Sadoy will be caught with the Cold Feet proc. Here comes Way2. Way2 could have maybe gotten off a magic missile, but instead decided to hold on to it. So action everywhere on the map, but it's all favoring RoX.KIS. Make it 3-0.
was a really sloppy sloppy engagement there from Sidoi.
Yeah.
There's no reason for him to miss the waning rift on a coiled target, but oh well, still got the kill. And bottom lane, VZZ, I believe that's 63. Yeah, is charging Bulba here. He has actually a surge in 1 second. He does a lot. Look at that, right? Oh my god. He got in range. It might have been a kill.
He chased him for. But throwing the Ion Shell, and he ends up dying. QuakeFest spins his blast, but what are you doing? Like, he sucked so much damage. And now Demon going to try to track him down. Tree Armor's there to help him just in case he was engaged upon. But yeah, that's going to make it 4-0, and just really bizarre stuff happening from Liquid.
Sidoi is just not hitting any of his spells.
No.
He just totally whiffed his illusionary orb there again on Way 2. Way 2 might get away here. No, there's some good movement speed from the phase boots from BZZ. Another kill for the Razor. And yet that was a big misplay by Bulba. Like, he just ran up and fed one for nothing.
Yeah.
Afterwards. And then I missed a kill up top. Doom gets a solo kill in the AA with his Doom.
Yep.
This is a disaster for Liquid.
Yep, this game has completely come apart at the seams. QuakeFest now spotted out. Still 80 seconds till his ult's available, and Yoel's going to run right into him. And yeah, just hanging out, saying, all right, guys, here he is. Hellfire Blast is there, but it's not going to matter. He's already been linked up, and I'm going to have to spend any of their cooldowns. That's going to be another free one. 7-0, and this feels like a pub game, to be honest. Like, it's kind of ridiculous how dominant RoX.KIS is right now.
Yeah, I really like their draft, and I worried for the Doom up top just because of the lane assignments, but I don't know. I just think they didn't engage properly on the Doom. They went in awkward times where Doom could see them before the stun would come out quickly enough to where he was in a bad position, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't work out the top lane. They needed to capitalize in a way that they could get the stuns without him seeing it coming, and then quickly follow up with another stun from Wraith King. And they weren't able to do that. So, but again, you also have to just credit that to Solo. Like, he didn't quite see all the heroes on the map yet. He maybe suspected that they were tri-laning top, and he played accordingly. So you have to give Solo some props.
Yep, Solo's been doing a great job. He's right near the top in terms of overall CS. The Razor, though, is the one that's been going absolutely bonkers. BZZ. Level 10 already. He's 2-0 and has just been dominant. Yeah, he's halfway to his scepter, more than halfway to his scepter now. His item progression is insane. I mean, if there's anything you can say, it's like, all right, so Demon's got his Midas up. It came out at a decent-ish clip. I want to say it came out around 9:30 to 9 to 9.5. But still, I mean, it's a long road to go for him to really be as relevant as he'd like, and he's going to be doing it into Doom, into Fiend's Grip, and into that Razor. Like, I don't know how much impact he's going to be able to have even under the best of circumstances, let alone playing like he is right now. And it's not so much him, it's more his team. They're just completely getting bullied around, and he does not have as much room to work with as he would like.
Yeah, I think Shadow Fiend is actually, he can do work here in this game. Excuse me, and he has tools to help him. Like, he's got Swap when it does eventually come out. He's got the Surge from Darkseer. He can have Wraith King stand in the front for a little bit for the brunt of the damage. So Demon is actually farming very, very well, and he can make an impact. The thing is, though, I'm worried against like Doom. Like, the Doom ultimate's going to completely shut him down. That's what I was talking about at the beginning. There is a haste turn popped from Demon, so he'll be fine. But yeah, again, coming into play is this Razor pick. I love Razor. I think this hero just is good in almost any scenario, and I think he's very, very underloved, I should say.
Underloved.
Yeah, and I think the reason is he's amazing in the early game. He's even better in the mid game, and he's pretty decent actually in the late game. Top lane, actually, AA Blast is off the mark on this.
Yep, and he's going to be dooming Bulba. Now comes a big reaction. Tier 1 is still standing, but with that Scorched Earth, he might decide to just pursue him out. Bulba can only move so fast, and yeah, looks like he doesn't want to take the chance. There's going to be the Magic Missile as more reactions are coming in now, this time from Team Liquid. They've got 3 under the tower, 3-on-3 in this top lane now. Doesn't look like either really willing to push the issue. And in the meantime, BZZ has rotated now into mid. He and GoBlack pushing on this Tier 1. QuakeFest still trying to farm, but this is, what we've talked about. The one position Wraith King, like, he's throwing out, stuns, and that's nice, but he's just kind of not really worth it at the moment.
Yeah, if he was some kind of bigger farmer, you'd be like, okay, well, at least he's finding his space bottom, but it's the Wraith King. What more can that hero do? Demon's channeling. Oh, wow, he almost channeled and the AA Blast is off. What is going on here?
Yep.
The backstab from Sidoi is going to find an easy kill on TC, and Demon's in trouble now, too.
Yep. Demon caught with the coil. There's the Fiend's Grip. And yeah, that's called a gangbang, ladies and gentlemen. And RoX.KIS just bullying him around up at top. In the meantime, Solo's back under the tier 1. He's got to run for it now. Uses the drum charge. But yeah, he's able to make it away. And that aggressive of a position. RoX now charging down this middle lane, and all Team Liquid. I mean, they haven't posted a kill yet, man. It's 9-0.
I bet all the Euro fanboys are loving this game too, because they're like, RoX.KIS didn't even make it to TI for wild card. They're just dominating Liquid.
Mm-hmm. Liquid is
no shots fired, but yeah, it looks pretty pitiful, honestly. And I've seen AA or TC TP like 3, maybe 4 different times and have absolutely no effect.
Yep.
And that might not be a big deal, but when it's a support that's getting underleveled and has no farm whatsoever, it's actually a lot of gold that you waste out on Bulba. Doomed again, he's dead.
Dead skis. It seems like it has to be so frustrating for Bulba right now. He's basically permanently doomed. That's about the 4th time he's been hit with Doom in that top lane. 10-0, and as we can see, that's a big number. It's almost 10,000 overall gold lead for RoX.KIS right now, and we're sub 15 minutes still. The experience, not quite that high, but at least in the vicinity. Top tier 1, next to drop. And this is honestly beginning to feel like one of those games where they'll get a kill and then maybe GG afterwards. Like, unless they get it under control very quickly, I don't know what they can do. Shadow Fiend's a great hero, but he's not good enough to carry this much on his own. Gold Black will be caught. Here you go. There's the first kill. And that'll do. Got off the overgrowth in the meantime. Yol using Nightmare on the Koikva, but no follow-up. So there you go, Liquid.
Well, if there's a Fiend's Grip, he could find. Oh, he didn't find him. Nice juke spot and TP there by Koikva. Would have definitely been a kill. It would have expended the ultimate, but I think they could have killed him afterwards because he would have still had all the damage drained from BCZ. He would have been hitting like for 250 or something.
Here's the problem with a farming Wraith King. He wasn't in bad shape CS-wise, even though it was aggressive for a while. Look at his net worth, man. He's worth as much as the Bane, and he's been farming for the majority of the game. Like, it's so hard to run that effectively. BZZ going to spot him out. There's going to be the plasma field. We'll get off the static link. Trapped in the trees. And he will be brought down. Ultimate procs, but I don't think RoX.KIS cares. AA is going to throw the ult. Here we go. Maybe a chance to turn this around. Koikva caught out. Now they're going to throw the coil. That caught 3. Demon using the ulti, but the damage is just so slow in coming. TC's going to end up being chopped down. There's the Doom now on to Demon. Yol right there doesn't have mana, but in the meantime, Demon is cleaning house. That's going to be maybe a triple kill. Yes. Got him with the last auto attack. May end up dead because of it and will. So even though he did a fair amount of work that time, still not enough. It's exactly what we were saying. He did as much as he could, but it's not enough in this situation. Everyone else is too far behind. RoX.KIS feeling a little too developed.
I think BCZ could have played that a lot better. He got really tunnel vision on the VS.
Yeah, he did.
Tried to really overextend to get the VS kill. Didn't even get him, and could have been spending that damage elsewhere on perhaps Demon or saving his team. So it could have been a lot better there for RoX.KIS, but they're still in fine shape.
Yeah.
They got a lot of net worth on 3 of those cores.
All right, let's talk about bright points for Liquid. They're hurting. We know that. You can only beat that horse so many times. Basically, I mean, when you look around, Demon is almost to his BKB. That's a pretty big deal. Static Link goes through that, so that's kind of sucks. And so does the ultimate. Hell, so does most of what RoX.KIS has. Like, again, just the way they drafted is a very tough composition for that Shadow Fiend to be able to cope with. But still yet, the BKB's on the way, and that's good news. Bulba should have his mechanism up very shortly. He's about 300 gold off of it as we speak. But yeah, there's a Scepter already up for BZZ. He's got his Ogre Club on his way to a BKB. Mech and Drums already done on the Doom. Even the tree sitting on Treads and Orb of Venom. So everything kind of going their way. Dagon picked up, by the way, on this puck. And this is going to be an uncontested Roshan now.
Yeah, I think you really said it too. Like, this isn't the greatest lineup for SF to play against. Like, Tree is really bad because you can overgrowth him and just stop him. So as a ranged carry, against Tree, especially in the mid to late game, you kind of have to go like BKB and Manta so that you can just make sure you're never stuck. But that's just going to require a lot of farm that he just doesn't have. Way too in some trouble. They're probably going to waste the coil on it. Yep. I shouldn't really say waste. It's a freak. Oh, can I get him in time? Yeah, they can.
Easily. Wow. Dagon gaming, son. And at least Koikva got out. Koikva stepped into the trees and took the quick ride to the house. But by the way, just while we do have a minute, I actually was informed by one of our cool viewers why BZZ runs 633. In Cyrillic, BZZ, the equivalent, looks exactly like 633.
Yep. There you go.
Anyway, there's going to be a static link. Doesn't look like they're willing to over-pursue at the moment.
And that's an Ags finish for some time on Razor. He's just been farming out of his mind. Probably going to go for a BKB next, I would assume. It's pretty damn good against Liquid. Their only right click is Demon, and he actually does have a good right click. But there's only one level of Vengeance or up on Avenge, so it's not really going to help him that much. If he had more levels, and this was more of an even game, I would think that Liquid's lineup is really good. If they didn't have a Wraith King as their one. I know we keep beating that, but it could have worked if they did something in this aggressive tri-lane, but they didn't. So,
I mean, it's 20 minutes and he's looking for a Blink Dagger. Like, that's really like the situation.
Bottom lane, Venge gets caught out again. I feel like I see Way2 get caught out a lot like this.
Yeah.
Not to harp on it, but I do see it a lot. But you have to think if you're Liquid, like if we're going to go the aggressive tri-lane and put Wraith King as a 1, you have to have kind of like a backup plan in your mind. Like if this fails, like can we fall back on a Shadow Fiend hard enough? Can we give him enough stacks, enough room for him to just carry us?
Right.
Because a Wraith King is not going to do it on its own. So I don't think the answer is yes. I think they needed to really own that lane top.
I just don't like one position Wraith King. Like at this current state, I don't think I've heard anyone who, like, no one at the house for the hub that I talk to is really a big fan. Like, everyone I mean, it's just like anything else. If in the right circumstances, in the right situation, you can get a hell of a lot out of it. It's just very rare that all of those stars align at once. And this has certainly not been the case for Liquid here today. So they've got a smoke looking for kills up at top. RoX is dodging it. They've got a lot of people on the way. It may get popped. Here we go. Doom shows his face under. There's going to be a swap. Way2 bringing him out. Magic Missile, AA ulti to follow it up. And will end up going down here. Here comes the rest of Collapse on it, though. There's going to be the static link. He actually outran it right off the bat. Chilling Touch is used. And this is not a situation where I think RoX really should be trying to engage out. They, without that Doom's such an integral part of being able to shut down the various factors in Liquid's lineup. But damn, they have so much damage. And BZZ, tanky as hell, too. There's going to be a Nightmare now on the TC. Yol has Fiend's Grip. BZZ going to zone them out. So always right there. There's the Fiend's Grip and the Waning Rift. Now BZZ going to be stunned, but it doesn't matter. Dagon plus the Static Link. Way2 should end up dying in the side shop. And in the meantime, we can see, he actually moved forward. Yeah, he actually spit the coil there as well behind it. Thought we were going to see BZZ and Goldblack try to pursue down Demon, but that's going to be a double kill for Yol. They ended up losing the Doom at the outset, but now the tier 2 is likely to be in jeopardy.
That was actually pretty hilarious. Like, they knew that Venge was probably dead, so they just all, like, ran away from him. And Venge's like, okay, I'll walk away. And they actually had to use the coil to kill him because it was TPing. I thought that was really funny. But AA Blast going to come. It will hit 4, but this tower is still taking considerable damage.
Yep. They just don't care at this point. I mean, to say he is dreadfully underfarmed is to put it mildly. He's got a stick and some boots, man. And this is like a time in the game where you're hoping that maybe you can start making some progress towards a scepter. And that's a long way from home. Sonoy caught out and killed off. There's going to be the overgrowth from Goldblack to buy himself some time to escape. But good kill there from Liquid. No reason not to take what is given to you. Pipe now done, though. Now we're going to see them actually try to engage on the Goldblack. Behind that, we're going to see BCC once again getting up the Static Link. Goldblack in trouble. Gets hit with the Ice Blast. TC drops behind it, though. Now Quakeva has to try to run away. Don't have the damage. And he will end up making it back home. So all said and done, it ends up being a 2-2. And Liquid is split pushing bottom, looking to get their first tower of the whole game. And yeah, this hasn't been a terrible exchange for them. They ended up trading 2 supports for Goldblack and Puck, and they get a tier 1. Not bad, guys.
Yeah, not bad. Demon is still farming very, very well. And he does have actually quite a high impact in these fights. Despite, I wonder if this Aegis is going to go out soon. I wasn't keeping track. It's got to be pretty soon. He should be okay for the time being. He's draining all of Wraith King's damage.
Doom on the bull, but Quakeva has no damage right now. There's going to be a Fiend's Grip onto Demon. That's a big kill in and of its own. BCC still has the Aegis. Will end up. No, he's going to survive. Now he'll be chopped down. But they're going to pop the pipe and engage on the Quakeva. His ult is down for a while. And let's see if they want to continue to pursue this out. BZZ back up and ready to fight. There's going to be the Hellfire Blast swap from Way2. Problem is, that is a level 1 swap, so the distance is so completely negligible. Accomplished next to nothing. Way2 track down, Dagon right in the back, and now chop down. There's going to be a vacuum wall from Bulba. Not bad, but still they're being overrun. BCC could end up dropping here. Tree Armor, keeping him alive for the moment, and trying to pursue into Eye of the Storm. Problematic. Now Quaker just going to rush uphill without his ultimate. Now they're going to turn it around. TC dies. Demon gets off the ultimate, but they just shrug it off. They just don't care. His damage right now is not high enough against these heroes with this many items. They're all so damn tanky. And they have tree armor, and they have an urn. They just can't keep it up.
Shadow Fiend can't really fight as soon as he dies if the fight's still going on because he doesn't have any souls.
Yep.
So if he hasn't used his ultimate, it doesn't do any damage. I think he had like 20 souls when he cast that. And it just is, it's not a very impressive ult. And this tier 3 is going to go down. The buyback was used on the Wraith King. He's got nothing but a blink. Nothing but a blink 24 minutes in. BKB is now here finished on Razor. He's almost got his refresher too.
Here we go. Going to engage once again. Demon eating so much damage from this Razor, though. He takes a spill. Quake being pursued out. Still more than a minute till his ult's back up. So if they catch him, he's down for the count. But RoX not in the mood to fountain farm yet. There it is. GG. So, an utter rout. Sub 25 minutes as Liquid falls and falls hard to the third-place finishers at the recent EU TI4 qualifier. Liquid finished second in the Americas. Did not look good in this game.
Did not look good. They could shrug it off. It was the first game. Maybe it was the first game jitters or first game of the day. I know how that feels. So they can shrug it off, and they still had some glimmers of hope in that game. Like Demon was farming very, very well, and still did considerable auto attack damage in those fights. But there was just too much on the whole squad of RoX.KIS. Everyone was farmed, except maybe Treant. He didn't have that much farm, but he was still pretty tanky. So very well played. I liked the lanes, and I just liked the draft from RoX.KIS. But more importantly, I think the supports just did an excellent job of rotating back and forth between top and bottom. I think that's what ultimately really won the game. So well played by the supports of RoX.KIS and just the entire squad.
Yeah, completely agree. And you know, it's one of those things. It's certainly not a dead positive, but we talked about it a little bit. I mean, you see TC running on the Ancient Apparition and Quake Buff running a one-position Wraith King and so on. You know, Liquid right now is a team in search of an identity, and they're looking everywhere they can to try and find it, as they should. I mean, they're going to Seattle. They're going to have a chance to compete for the biggest prize pool in esports history. And right now, they're just kind of out of sorts. But if there's anything encouraging to be had here, it's that they are being a little fearless and experimenting and trying to switch things up. Problem is, they're going to take some tough losses in the process, I'm sure. And today, game 1, an obvious example of that. Thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast, guys. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers, back here in San Francisco. Loved my time in LA, of course, hanging out with all of the guys at the NA Hub. Wish you had been there, Treff. Would have been a lot of fun, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a future iteration, we can hope. But, you and I will be getting together sometime soon for the D2L Western Challenge playoffs. We're going to be putting out more information about that coming up, so make sure you keep tuned for that. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm at AC, at AYESEE. And, of course, Tralf is out at TralfDota, TRALFDOTA. And for all news updates for the D2L, find us on Facebook and Twitter as well, just at D2LGG. Team Liquid drops game 1. RoX just one win away from securing their place into our 6-team field in the postseason of the D2L Western Challenge. We'll see if Liquid has something to say about it in game 2 coming up next. Stick with us. We'll be right back.